don't pay attention to the cameras.
Don't look directly into the
Yeah,
camera.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. CM Punk, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Long time no see.
Do you get to look into the cameras,
No.
or just not me?
It's
nobody.
So
we're just pretending.
Here.
We're just pretending like me and you are having some tea.
Yes. Sans tea, but your lovely dog is here.
I would really like some tea right now.
It's great to see you again. This has become a tradition for us.
It's weird. Yeah.
All week long, everyone's been asking me one question. They haven't been asking me about TJ Dillashaw, Renan Barão, or Misha Tate Jessikai. Will you be visiting CM Punk? We did it in 2012.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. We were actually standing right here, and that was our first interview.
10 long years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
You talked about your love of MMA. You were just a WWE champion who liked this sport. And then we met up in 2013. We were sitting over there. It was 48 hours before your big match at Royal Rumble against The Rock.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun.
Right.
Prior to UFC on Fox number 6. And then prior to UFC on Fox number 10 in 2014, we were standing right over there in that corner in what turned out to be your final interview before quitting.
Yeah.
This was a huge deal for me personally, because I had no idea what was to come.
Right.
Did you know what was coming?
No, I don't think you could have predicted any of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember asking you at the end of that interview, you probably don't remember, are you happy? Do you remember me asking you that?
Yeah, a little bit.
I said, are you happy? And you said, yeah, I'm happy. And I didn't really believe you.
Yeah, I didn't believe me either.
And so I'll ask you now, after all this time, a year and a half later, are you happy?
I'm not happy. I'm like elated. I'm ecstatic.
So much has changed.
I'm way more than happy. Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, the big thing is you're a UFC fighter now, which is a bit surreal for me coming back here after 3 trips, because we were always just talking about you being a fan. You couldn't even go to the shows when they were here.
I wasn't allowed to.
You weren't allowed, scheduling conflicts. And now you're an actual UFC fighter. They announced this in December, and now we've been, here 7 months later. We've heard some updates. We've seen you. You've popped up here and there at events. 7 months into it. Is it going as planned? Are you where you want to be when you announced this back in December?
It's weird answer is I don't know if I'm ever where I want to be. You know what I mean? Like I always do things to the best of my ability. So I certainly am not shocked by where I'm at. I'm not upset about where I'm at. I learn every day, and I'm happy where I'm at. But I want to be better than I am, and I think that's what most successful people probably feel. I think when George St. Pierre was on top of the world, I think he always strived to be better than he was, and that's the key for me is going in, training my ass off, which I'd imagine I'm probably going to say like a dozen times throughout this interview, and just learning something every day and getting better.
When they announced this on that pay-per-view on December 6th, UFC 181. It was a weird rollout in the sense that you were announcing this. You were announcing your intention to fight, being a member of the UFC. However, you didn't have answers to most of the questions people were asking you. Where you're going to train, who you're going to train with, when you're going to debut. Yeah. Little things like what your walkout song was going to be, all this stuff. You didn't have answers to any. In hindsight, are you happy with the way it happened, or would you have preferred have this year of training, do your thing, and then announce that you were signing? I
don't really live my life, and I think back, I wish we would have done something different. That's what they wanted to do, and I'm a pretty easy guy to work with. I was just like, okay, if that's what you want to do. If it was up to me back then, I probably would have been like, well, how about we just train, and then once we make the announcement, and then we can say, oh, he's fighting in 3 months.
Right.
Something like that. But they wanted to get it out there like ASAP, so we did it. I was just like along for the ride. It was fun.
And then you received, it was obviously a polarizing announcement, right?
Yeah.
You received some criticism. You received a lot of, positive feedback. People left and right were inviting you to join their team. And of course, some fighters were saying, this is a crock and all that stuff. Has it calmed down since, or do you still hear that? Not so much from fans, because you're always going to hear mixed, messages from them, but from your peers now. Do you feel like you are being invited in, that you're being welcome, that a lot of people aren't looking down on you?
Yes and no. I mean, it still pops up every once and again. But anybody who doesn't like what I'm doing, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing except me. So, I mean, a lot of people are cool, and I remember, famously Ben Askren was like probably one of the biggest outspoken people, and he might be one of the closest guys I'm close to at the gym.
Right.
So it's funny how things change.
course, you're at Rufus Sport now.
Yes.
You're in Milwaukee. You didn't really announce it. You allowed me to announce it, that you've moved to Milwaukee, or at least rented a place in Milwaukee to be closer to training. How's that going? How did you come to that decision that, okay, I want to be closer, because you're a Chicago guy and you're very proud to be a Chicago guy. How did you come to that decision, and are you living there full time now? Where do you stand?
Yeah, this weekend is actually the first time we've been home. Yes, Larry, I know. I'll get to that. This is the first time we've been home since we moved up there. And the idea originally was, well, we'll come back on the weekends, but we've thankfully, my wife April has fallen in love with Milwaukee, so that helps out tremendously. I wouldn't have been able to move out there without her supporting me 100%, which is cool. To me, it was a necessary thing because driving and just training once a day wasn't going to cut it. So to get to the level where I needed to be to absorb more information, because there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I did the first 6